Imagine paying thousands for first class only to have your meal, the one you specifically ordered weeks in advance, snatched away in front of everyone. Now imagine the crew laughing it off until you pull out a lawyer's card and the whole plane stops in midair. If you think that's shocking, wait till you hear what happened next. Subscribe now because you're about to hear a story the airlines don't want you to know. The morning sky over Heathrow was painted with streaks of gold, and yet Maya Johnson, a 38-year-old corporate negotiator from Atlanta, felt a storm brewing inside her. She had just closed the biggest deal of her career, securing $1 billion merger, and her company had rewarded her with a first-class ticket home. The cabin smelled of fresh coffee and warm bread as she settled into seat 1A, her crisp cream-white blazer contrasting beautifully against her dark skin. She had ordered a special vegan gourmet meal, confirmed twice with the airline because she had severe food allergies. The chief flight attendant, a tall man with icy blue eyes, glanced at her without a smile, scribbling something on his pad. Maya noticed. She always noticed. Years of boardroom battles had sharpened her radar for subtle disrespect. The doors closed, the engines roared, and the plane lifted off into a smooth climb. She relaxed for the first time in weeks, until the first course arrived, or rather, didn't arrive. The tray destined for her was placed in front of the white man across the aisle, who hadn't even ordered it. When she politely reminded the attendant, he gave a smirk and said, "We've run out." She pointed out she could not eat the standard meal due to allergies. He shrugged and, in a tone meant for others to hear, muttered, "Maybe next time, book economy if you want special treatment." Heads turned. Heat rushed to her face. But Maya didn't argue. Not yet. The second course came, and again her plate was missing. Instead, a half-eaten bread roll was placed on her tray with a plastic cup of water. The businessman who had been given her meal looked uneasy, but said nothing. The murmurs in the cabin grew louder. A woman in the second row whispered, "That's disgraceful." Maya's stomach tightened, not from hunger, but from the cold familiarity of public humiliation. The crew seemed to think she'd cause a scene. They didn't know who they were dealing with. As the lights dimmed for rest mode, she reached into her handbag and slid out a sleek, matte black card. Embossed in silver letters were the words, "Harper & Green, International Aviation Law." Her closest friend in London was the firm's senior partner, a man who had taken on billion-dollar airlines and won. She placed the card gently on the tray table, tapping it twice so the attendant could see it during his next pass. His smirk faltered. He whispered something to the purser. Maya could feel the shift in energy, the tension of people realizing. A line had been crossed, but she didn't rush. She let them stew. The turning point mid-flight, as the seatbelt sign pinged off, Maya stood, walked past the galley, and approached the cockpit door. She didn't barge in. She knew the law, but she asked firmly to speak to the captain. When the purser refused, she quietly dialed a number on her phone. The call connected to her lawyer, who was already awake and ready. She described the incident in exact detail, her voice calm but lethal. Within 5 minutes, he had spoken to the airline's CEO directly. Within 10, a satellite message from headquarters reached the captain. "Address the matter immediately. Passenger in 1A has legal representation on board. Cooperate fully." The captain came out himself, his face pale, asking if they could speak privately. Maya agreed, but in the aisle, where every passenger could hear. She explained her allergies, the meal confirmation, and the public disrespect. The captain apologized formally and ordered the crew to serve her an upgraded 5-course meal from the pilot's reserved stock. But Maya wasn't done. She leaned closer and said, "My lawyer will be waiting at the gate. This flight will not continue as if nothing happened." Grounded in glory 2 hours later, as the plane descended toward JFK, Maya felt the air change again. The captain made an unprecedented announcement. Due to a passenger service violation, we will be holding at the gate until matters are resolved. Gasps rippled through the cabin. Passengers craned their necks, cameras ready. The crew members, who had mocked her, now avoided her eyes. At the gate, two uniformed airline officials boarded, speaking only to Maya. Her lawyer, already inside the terminal, stepped forward with a team carrying legal binders. He took one look at her and said, "They've agreed to a full settlement and a public apology before you step off this plane." Passengers erupted in applause. As she walked down the jet bridge, the captain saluted her. News of the incident would hit social media within hours, sparking debates on discrimination, service standards, and corporate accountability. Maya didn't post about it herself. She didn't need to. By the time she reached the arrivals hall, her story was already trending worldwide. And as for the crew, let's just say they'll think twice before snatching anyone's meal again.